Before we delve into the topic, I would like to request Mr. Kofi to frame for us a little bit why we are here, the purpose of this dialogue series, and how we'll go on in future dialogue series. So, Mr. Kofi Benin Patrick, the mic is yours.
Good evening, everyone. Am I audible and can you see me clearly?
We can see you clearly, we can hear you.
Excellent. So my name is Patrick Kofi Bain, and first of all, I would like to take this opportunity to also welcome all the participants who have joined us on YouTube this evening. So I will share briefly about what AYLF Dialogue Series is about. So you see, the AYLF Youth Dialogue Series is not just an ordinary platform, and it's a powerful catalyst for change, a space where young Africans like ourselves can come together, engage in meaningful conversation, and share our ideas to address the pressing challenges that our continent faces. And it's all about inspiring and empowering the next generation of African leaders to take actions and create a better future for ourselves and the generations to come. So these dialogue series are going to be taking place on every Sunday, starting from today, which is the first day. And after this Sunday, we are going to have another section in the next Sunday. And we look forward to bring in renowned African thought leaders, experts, and innovators as keynote speakers to share their wisdom and insight. And we also dive into interactive panel discussion like what we are going to do today, where diverse youths can share their experiences, perspective, and converge, collide, and also ultimately collaborate on common grounds in offering perspective or answers to the problem that we will be sharing. So we will also be having a breakout sessions in case we have a bigger participant on board. We will have a breakout sessions where we will also take lively discussions from participants who will be joining us on YouTube, because these dialogue sessions will always be broadcast on YouTube for all our members around the world to be able to join us. And again, what makes the AYLFU dialogue series truly special are the themes that we intend to explore in this dialogue. For instance, we are going to have topics like in education, we will have things related to development, we will have speakers who will be sharing experience in entrepreneurship, and we will have things related to economic empowerment as well as leadership and governance in Africa. We all know that these are some of the typical issues that we have in Africa, and not forgetting technology as well as also justice and activism that youth can be involved in. And beside that, we will also have experiences shared by our own members who would wish to come in with their ideas or knowledge on what they want the world to know. And if I say this, I want to mean that participants will be given the opportunity. For instance, if you are a youth leader, like those of us who have already converged here, I believe we are doing a lot of things in our community. So you have an idea of what you are doing and you want the world to know about it, or you want the whole African to hear about the good thing you are doing. This is the platform that we have created for you to come and share what you are doing, what others can learn from it, and also what others can take and implement similar thing, or inquire on what they can also do to help you achieve whatever you are doing. So if you are interested to get involved in this AYLF dialogue, what you have to do is to just submit a short proposal on the topic you want to talk about, or anything that you want to explore, which I have already mentioned, which include economics, include technology, include development, governance, anything that you want to explore. All what you have to do is to submit an official proposal or the topic to AYLF Executive Director, which is Ms. Mary Takali. I believe most of you already have his details. And if you go to our website, you'll find her email address and everything there to also reach out to her. Or you can even write directly to the AYLF email address, which is info@aylf.net, info@aylffoundation.net, or info youngleadersfoundation@gmail.com. Any of these email, if you send your proposal, we will receive it, review it, and also give you the opportunity to share your knowledge. So to end this topic that I'm talking about, this youth dialogue series is promising to be very innovative, promising to be very engaging, interesting, and I believe anybody who happens to be on board or happens to listen to us will learn a lot of things and also ignite a lot of flames in us to continue whatever we are doing, and also inspire us to find something impactful and meaningful that will leave lasting legacy for our continent and the people in general. So thank you so much. And I look forward that we will have massive proposals from all of us and the people who may be interested in having this platform to share their knowledge and experiences. Thank you, Miss Mary. I believe this is what I can say about the AYLF dialogue session.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kofi. I don't need to repeat everything that you've said. You've heard from the man himself, our PRO and membership director. Now, before we move ahead with the topic, our topic today is AYLF's impact on youth leadership, a review of the AYLF Leadership Conference influence. I would like to give you a brief background about what transpired in the conference and when the conference happened. So AYLF organized the conference after recognizing the need to empower a new generation of leaders who will guide Africa towards a sustainable and inclusive future. This conference brought together over 500 registered participants online on Zoom and YouTube. And this conference had over participants from over 28 countries from Africa. It brought together aspiring young leaders, policymakers, academia, and development professionals. So some of the topics that we had in this conference involved understanding personal leadership styles, principles of ethical leadership, exploring the intricacies of personal branding, changing the African narrative, enhancing communication skills, those were verbal and written. We had development of conflict resolution strategies. We had topics on encouraging innovative thinking and AI, building an excellent brand, building strategies of sustainable leadership. We had topics on capacity building. Mr. Nana Akwasi talked about youth advocacy and how we can be able to do effective advocacy as far as young people are concerned. So most of those topics were engaging and empowering, and we believe that most of our young leaders who participated in the conference learned a lot of things. So the topic today here, we are here to review, and we want to hear from you, our distinguished panelists, your key takeaways from the conference, your challenges, what suggestions do you have for future conferences, what structures do you want us to focus on, which other topics do you want us to focus on, how can we organize these conferences better, and other things. So I would like to start with Mr. Dennis Munene. Kindly unmute yourself, introduce yourself a little bit, we want to know more about you, and tell us what are some of the key takeaways that you got from this conference, and then we shall move on. Over to you, Mr. Dennis.
Thank you, Ms. Mary Takari. I hope I'm audible. Am I audible?
Yes, please. Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, and thank you again. My name is Dennis Monene. I am the national president of the AYLF here in Kenya, and also a leader, a young leader here in Kenya, and not a leader of the Gen Zs. Gen Zs are leaderless currently. I am happy of what we end, the forum that we end for AYLF earlier this month. And it has really transpired into many things that we are seeing, or many movement that we are seeing happening, not only in Kenya, but also in other countries. I've seen also other movement which have been planned by countries such as Ghana and South Africa. And most of these things, when you follow them, they are coming from these dialogues that we're having, the conversations that we're having with the young people. And some of the things that I really took from the conversation, from the forum that we had, and number one was the collaboration of the young people and the alliances forming and forging together to create a force for the young people, not going separate ways and saying that I am a young person in this tech, in let's say education, let's say environmental sustainability. You go alone and you find yourself, you are falling there. But by coming together, creating forces together and moving together as one. And such things, we are really seeing them here in Kenya, where young people have decided to come out together. They are tribalists. You cannot define who is this. In Kenya, we have 45 tribes, but the young people came out together, regardless of whether you come from a rich background or a poor background, or a learned in university, in masters, or whatever thing you have, you are coming together as one to defend your allies, to show that you can do this thing together, united, and we can really achieve that a lot. Then on personal branding as young people, well, it's something. I remember the speaker then said, it's not something that is for the influencers only. It's for everyone, that we can, or anyone, you are actually defined by who you are. Or for example, when they are going to buy, or people don't buy things because of how things are marketed. They buy things because of the person. For example, I give an example of the football. For example, it's like people who are known in football, like Messi and Cristiano. Those people, once they attach a brand or try to advertise a brand, it is not bought because it's just water or anything else. It's just bought because of the brand of these people. So we are getting to brand ourselves and that thing. Then they ask me into the transparency, and those are the things that have transparent to a lot of other things which are happening in Kenya. And I'm really glad that young people are getting these things, and they are saying, we are tired of these things of getting back or from where we are coming from. We need to shape up. Otherwise, everyone will shape out. So, and that is one thing that we really need to come into. And the other thing is also on innovation. And this is one thing I've always emphasized in everywhere I've been, and creating those innovative measures, coming up with something, what is really happening at the moment. For example, we in Kenya, we have identified that the corrupt leadership is the problem. So once you identify this is the thing, then create or innovate measures that can be able to tackle these things. And then thereafter, we are able now to resolve this thing once and for all. And if not, we have at least solved a lot of other things that we were really stressing us up and doing all those things. Thank you, Takad.
Thank you so much, Dennis. What I've gotten from you is that the conference taught us all to collaborate with young people together to solve African issues. And a case in point, obviously, being the recent Kenyan riots that happened. The Gen Zs came together and stood against the finance bill. And we saw President Ruto reacting and taking it back to Parliament. So I believe that as young people, if we work together, we can be able to achieve a lot of things for Africa and shape the Africa that we want. Now, over to you, Josiane. I'd like you to kindly introduce yourself and tell us where you're from, and of course, share your experience. What stood out for you in the AYLF conference? Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you very much, the Mary Joyce Takari. My name is, am I audible? Am I audible?
Please.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. My name is Josiane Adolf. I get a lot of questions on how do I pronounce my name. My name is Josiane Adolf. Yeah, I'm a third-year law student at Cavendish University, Zambia. So I'm from Zambia. I'm a member of Lawson 8. I'm a member of African Young Leaders Foundation, of course. And I run an initiative called She Is Girl Foundation, which is aimed at promoting a better future for a girl child through mental health advocacy and end girl child abuse campaigns. Before I go into like what I learned or my key takeaways from the AYLF conference, I'd like to express my gratitude to God, of course, and to AYLF executives for giving me this opportunity to speak. Yeah. So what were my key takeaways from the leadership conference that we had last month? Of course, some of the things have already been talked about by Mr. Dennis Monene. So I'll just highlight some of the few things that I got from the leadership conference. Firstly, the most memorable things I learned that I would like to share, as they were very effective and are still very effective, were Mr. Anonadaga's presentation on Mr. Alfred's presentation, and of course Mr. Asare's presentation. Mr. Anonadaga's presentation was about why not now. He talked about leaders, young people being leaders of today and not of tomorrow. He talked about how we usually tell ourselves we're leaders of tomorrow, but why not now? Mr. Alfred talked about, you know, how to recognize what you have to offer, how you can use that, how you can add value to that which you can offer. Mr. Asare talked about personal branding. He talked about how this world is a game of perception. Life is about perception. It's about the image that you create. And so, yeah, it was very, very impactful. I learned a lot. Honestly, all the speakers were good. I got a lot of things. This leadership conference was not just a conference for me. It was a learning platform. I got to learn a lot of things. I got to gain practical skills on how to better myself as an individual, firstly, and then how to deliver that which I have to offer. Yeah, briefly, that's some of the things I got. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Josiane. Again, you will forgive me if I don't pronounce your name well, but just to ask a follow-up question or regarding gender equality, as from a gender equality advocate perspective, from the statistics of the AYL conference, we realized that male participation was higher than female participation. As a girl child advocate, how can we increase female participation in conferences, in trainings, in capacity building spaces like the AYLF Leadership Conference?
How can we create more female participation? I really say I don't even know how to even explain this. I was very, very disappointed personally to see that was the female turnout. I think one of the main reasons why there's very little female participation in a lot of things, it's not just this leadership conference, it's a lot of things. Politics, I've noticed politics, education-wise, females are reluctant to participate. And I think the problem is not with the initiative, the problem is with ourselves, which is what I advocate for, is our mindset. So it's about the girls themselves, the mindset that they have. But how can AYLF, improve? I'd say more advertising, but really starts with ourselves. If you yourself do not feel like you're a leader, then even if I come to you and explain to you, tell you to say, there's this opportunity, come and be this, come and learn and understand personal branding and whatnot. If you do not understand that you're a leader yourself, then nothing can be done about it. And so the only thing that AYLF can do, and any other initiative out there, is effectively advertise, effectively communicate, and make the people aware, make the women aware that there's this opportunity. But at the end of the day, it's up to us women. And of course, I know that there are people who are watching on YouTube and everywhere. If you're a girl, you're a woman, please just know that opportunities are not just for men themselves. It's not just for men, it's for everybody. Even you as a woman, you can be a leader. And so tell yourself to say, I'm a leader. Tell yourself that I can lead. I can actually attend this conference and understand. And so once we women, once we girls, once we females start to have that mindset about ourselves, then it will be very easy. You won't even need to do, the initiatives won't even need to do anything. We ourselves will go and approach such opportunities. So the only thing AYLF can do, advertise, effectively communicate, but at the end of the day, it's you and I as women to take the initiative.
Yeah, I'm sorry to the men in the building. I had to bring this topic in because Uganda has we just received the preliminary results on the population census and realized that women are still more than men. And believe me, women contribute a lot to socio-economic development of our communities, our families. So we need to empower them. That's why I was asking for the strategies that AYLF can use to encourage female participation. So that is why I brought this question. Over to you, Mr. Emmanuel Maleka. Kindly introduce yourself, tell us what you do, and then your key takeaways from the AYLF Leadership Conference. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I don't know if I'm audible. Can you have to me if I'm audible? Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Kali, for moderating this wonderful session. And I would like to also send out my deep thanks to AYLF for this wonderful opportunity to speak to the youth and empower them in this rapidly changing world. Now, my name is Emmanuel Maleka Simba. I'm a Ugandan citizen, and I'm a youth leader. Academically, I'm a pharmaceutical scientist, so I'm interested in product development, especially in pharmaceuticals and cosmetics. I'm also currently a student of Masters of Science in Pharmaceutical Analysis at Mbayo University of Science and Technology in Uganda. Yeah, I'm a humanitarian, a Rotaractor. I also like nature and climate action. Therefore, I'm a food security activist. Yeah, and I'm also the head of departments of health departments at African Young Leaders Foundation. I'm glad to be here. So my takeaways in the previous conference are not any different from the rest of the speakers, but I would like to just emphasize on some of the key points. I got so much interested in communication, because it's because of communication that actually we are here, because this is a dialogue series. So I'm actually happy that some of the points are already being put into practice. So one of the speakers talked about communication and it being an art, which only gets better and better with practice. Of course, we know that no one is perfect, so you don't expect to be perfect, but with practice, you can make it better, and then that way you can be able to express yourself, and people know who you are out there. Then I learned about the importance of interdisciplinary teams, which can give us the confidence and the ability to execute the goals we need to achieve holistically. You're not stand alone. You need people from different disciplines, different areas. If you're in business, you need someone in the health sector. if you're in agriculture, you need someone in the political sector so that you can achieve goals effectively and then achieve what you're looking at. So, Mr. Asari talked about branding. It was really a wonderful session that he put across. He talked about personal branding, and it really interested me because I really like branding. As a youth leader, you need to have a flexible brand which can explore all the different environments and audiences. For example, if you're going for a conference, you don't come in shorts. You need to come dressed in a suit. Similarly, if you're going for soccer, you can't go in a suit. You need to put on a full kit jersey that is going to suit soccer. Yeah, personal branding really involves understanding your background, talk about the people you associate with, the academic background, the family, and then setting goals in what you believe in, and then ultimately coming up to showcase what you really are, so that people can get to know who you are. And that is really important for everyone because the impression you give out there is what people take you for. You're basically what you give out there. I always tell my people that as a master student, I also happen to lecture. So I tell my students that even me, a smell, I mean the way you smell is part and parcel of your brand, your personal brand. So you need to take care of you need to be conscious of who you are, because people whatever you give out is what people take from you, and that is the impression people have of you. Yeah, so basically those were some of the key points I took from the conference. Yeah, about the challenges. Um, in Uganda, I wouldn't want to speak for everyone, but from the feedback I got from the
Mr. Emmanuel,
colleagues
before
from
you go to
Uganda,
the
they said
challenges,
most of them
before you go to the
had issues
challenges,
with the network. So
Mr. Emmanuel,
network issues, yeah.
can you hear me? Before you go to the challenges, allow me cut you short. Hold that thought as we go to Yvonne because her network is disturbing her. I would like to hear her key takeaways from the AYLF conference, then I'll come back to you. I'll go to Morit, then I'll come back to you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you
Hi,
very much.
Yvonne. If you're there, kindly unmute and speak. She's off. Okay, she's off. Mr. Alfred Senesi, I can see you're welcome. Before we go ahead, I'd like to recognize our YouTube viewers. Thank you for taking your time to listen to us in this AYLF First Youth Dialogue series. So, Mr. Molid, I would like to come to you. Kindly unmute and show us your face. Thank you so much. So, Mr. Molid, I would like to hear from you. First of all, you introduce yourself and tell us what you do, but I would like to hear from you. We had a session on conflict resolution by Mr. Ramiz Bakhtia. I hope I've mentioned the name well. I would like to know, like, as a person who comes from Somalia, how did the strategies you learned from the conference about conflict resolution build your capacity, or how did these sessions build your conflict resolution capacity, to be precise? I hope the question is clear. Mr. Molid, we can't hear you. Kindly unmute. We can't hear you, sir.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear
Hello.
now. We can hear
Okay,
now.
okay. Thank you very much for everyone. And thank you very much. Thank you very much for everyone. My name is Huli Abdulman Ali. I'm national president for ALFY. I am from Somalia. And I'm teaching for a university and for undergraduate students for Midland State universities as well as for other universities. So I'm teaching as a business and accounting. So as well as I'm working for other sectors for a business as private. And that's all my what I'm doing for here. So I'm expecting for this wonderful season's conference, which is emphasized by my skills, my leadership, my networks for this amazing network for young leaders for all for members of for this institution. I'm very happy to Kalandi for this wonderful platform and networks. Also, it is parts for capacity building and improving for the leadership skills, networking for the other intellectual leaders for young Africans for each African countries. This, by the way, it is it is future and expectations for the coming leaders. So wonderful. So that's all my background is. Thank you. And secondly, can I proceed my the question? What conflict resolution is for strategy?
Yes, please
Can I
proceed
proceed?
in 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And the question is what conflict resolution strategy is to emphasize it at African conference? Yeah. By the way, this is very important questions for the for our if we are young leaders for these questions, can we discuss what have idea can we have, what solutions can we bring for the our African continent? So it's very important. It's very important for this. I summarize it for the few 5 key points, maybe the conflict resolutions. First of all, the affording by the conflict. That means simplify ignoring that may be conflict. People tend to afford the conflict when they don't engage, afford the allows, and to ignore if we are ignore the problem. African leaders that involved by conflict created by the conflict for the state citizens for their country. So if they ignore the any conflicts that caused by the conflict created by the conflict, maybe there's no rising, there's no expectations by the problems, conflicts, violence. So and that means first of all you have to afford. If you are individual, if you are two groups, if you are a leader, you have to be not created by conflict. So if we are leaders, if we are young leaders, we should afford. We should not part for the conflict. We have to create it by the conflict. Second, bond is competing. Competing is an uncooperative overall a certain method used by the people who is decided winning by the dispute at all costs, known as the win-loss strategy. What win-loss strategy? That's what we saw win-win or loss-loss. So if we the second bond by the competing, third bond is accommodating. This is strategic also known as smoothing involves the one part given by the opposing party exactly what needs to resolve problems. This method allows you to resolve problems in short term, while the working towards a longer term solution means that's that part. The four bond collaborating. What kind of collaborating? That means we must collaborate for each and everyone for the community, for the leaders, for politicians should be collaborate each other like a compromising method. Collaboration involves working with the other and party to find a mutual agreement. If we are collaborating, we should be collaborate on mutual agreeable solutions. If we are among us or among leaders should come offer by the problems. That means the solutions comes when we collaborate.
Okay, I think we lost Mr. Molid. But from what I take from his last key point is that we need to collaborate as young people and young African leaders to avoid conflict.
Hello? Sorry, not the
Yes,
problem.
Mr.
Sorry. Okay. Can I proceed? Sorry.
Kindly conclude and we go ahead.
Okay. Work and mutual agreement. The solution is the problem is known as the win-win strategy. Means win-win means you have to win together. For example, salesperson and the client may work together to negotiate and contract terms until both parties and find it agreeable. Means win-win and strategic win-win strategy. So and lastly, compromising. This strategic also known as reconciling means you have to reconciling the solution, the conflict parties. Two faces conflict needs by conciliation, negotiation, and finding the problem is finding the agree the root the cause of the root of the problem. It means you have to find what cause for this problem. Seek a mutual agreement, settle a dispute. It is known as a loss-loss strategic. Loss-loss strategic. That means can we win or can we lose together, or can we lose for this opportunity. Since both parties willing for some of their needs in the interest of reaching an agreement, this can be quite quick way of resolving conflict resolution without becoming bigger issue. That means compromising. So I summarizing for this 5 key points that with a strategic solution for the conflict for the conference. Thank you very much. Thank
you so much, Mr. Mole from Somalia. Thank you so much. What I get from your key takeaways about conflict resolution is that we need to compromise as young leaders, but above all, we need to collaborate, like how Dennis put it out. We need to collaborate with each other, and of course, putting into consideration the different diverse perspectives and intersectionalities that we have as Africans. Thank you so much, Mr. Molid. Allow me welcome Mr. Alfred once again. I know we have not heard from him. Mr. Alfred Senesi, kindly unmute and give us your key takeaways in 2 minutes. Key takeaways from the African Young Leaders Leadership Conference. Mr. Alfred,
hello,
there?
Yeah, are you hearing me?
We see you. Yes, but we want to see you.
Yes, firstly, I'm so sorry because the phone I'm using, I'm having a default camera. So it's quite impossible to see me facially because I just managed to actually switch up and put a background photo. I don't know if that's okay. But I really want to apologize. Okay. So firstly, we secondly also like to apologize for coming in late because we're having serious rain season and it was a bit stormy. Just now it is getting seized up. I was able to get connected. Now in my own area for the youth conference, the AYLF conference that I just passed, I took a lot of insight and got aware of so many things which actually widen up my experience and broaden my knowledge about leadership, what it takes and what it's supposed to be, you being a leader. I learned a lot from all of the speakers, wherein I I can't be able to name them individually, but all of them impact me, wisely. Wherein what I gained most especially from a leader who stated of African youth not stating for them being future leaders, but having themselves being selected to be the now actionable leaders, like wherein we are to not wait for the problems of Africa to get to that emergency state, but we are to actually involve ourselves as key actions leaders and taking notes of everything that's supposed to be with development, but not procrastinating things. And one thing I've learned about African problems and wherein the poverty of Africa issues is still remaining, we Africans, we love delaying on issues. We love looking at problems rather than building solutions. And we as African, the reason why the Western world is more developed than we Africans is that the Western world believe in now, not thinking of tomorrow, what it might be. They believe in applying themselves, taking actions, and doing exactly what the necessary needs are meant to have an achievement of everything. So that is what I believe in. If we as Africans take that lead to like actually know that these are responsibilities, we're not expecting the Europeans to come and develop African for us. We actually need to be involving in every policy making and every actions towards poverty reduction, because for now, that is my key area of focus, wherein I'm looking at aspects of collaborations, seeking partnerships, having much connections with other fellow Africans to see how best eradicating or minimizing poverty across the whole of African continent. And that is what I want all of us Africans to be considering, which that was one of my main key area, building my experience of leadership. So with that, for that short, I think to stop here and see forward to the meeting, how it goes. Thank you once more for giving me the privilege and opportunity.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much, Mr. Alfred Senesi. You didn't introduce yourself, but I hope you will do that at the end of the dialogue. Back to you, Mr. Emmanuel. You were talking about challenges, but I remember something that you mentioned in your key takeaways, and that's something I'm going to go with home.
Hello.
That we have to smell good. Even if we are coming for a Zoom meeting, we have to smell good. Okay. So can you please go ahead with the challenges and the gaps that you identified in the African Young Leaders Foundation Leadership Conference, and what are the strategies and what direction do you want to take us for? Do you want us to take for in the future conferences that we are yet to organize? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kali, once again, for that wonderful moderation. Yeah, so I was talking about the challenges that I was able to identify, and I want to benchmark on the Ugandan audience that we had. Now, from the feedback I got, most of them told me that they had challenges with the network issues. Accessing the conference online was quite difficult for them. Yeah, so we need to navigate internet connectivity next time. Maybe in regards to that, we can consider moving forward having a physical conference, if possible. That way to be able to solve such challenges and also be able to act as a platform for collaborations and networking, and not only share knowledge but also skills, because skills are easily taught physically. So I hope that will be a better way to handle that kind of issue. Then there was also some confusion between who is to attend. Is it only AYLF members, or even well-wishers who haven't yet become members of the foundation. Yeah, so there was that kind of confusion. There was a predicament, but I think at the end of it all, some members also who were not part of the foundation were able to join in on the later days. Yeah, so it was worked on. So moving forward, I would also wish to have some discussions regarding innovations. I feel like as young leaders, we need to be taught how to be innovative, how to look at problems as mere challenges that we are supposed to overcome and forge a way forward, and not rather just cry about the problems we have, because problems never get done. Every day comes with a problem, but how do you forge around a solution to keep moving forward? Because without finding a solution, you can't achieve your set goals. So as youth leaders and audiences, we need to know and learn more about innovation so that we can be able to keep going in this rapidly changing world. Yeah, so those were some of my key take home and challenges that I noted from the previous conference. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. I'm trying to get Yvonne as much as I can, but every time I try to call her, she's off, and I'm so sorry we might not hear her speak tonight. So I'd like to come to you, Josiane, and I believe that this conference took place in for 4 days, right? But I don't think that we covered all the topics, we tackled all the issues that we wanted to talk about that are affecting Africa. What are some of the issues and topics and content or areas of focus that you're suggesting that the next conference should focus on, or what should we put into consideration? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mary. Well, I was very pleased actually with the topics that we discussed, but some of the topics that I would like to see in future are, like you mentioned earlier, what is the importance of women in leadership? Something like that, something within those lines, like what is the importance of women in leadership, or something within the lines of gender, gender and leadership. What's that? And not only that, also the last thing that I would like future leadership conferences to discuss would be issues with regards mental health. Like, what's the importance of mental health with regards leadership? Most people don't see the importance of this, of mental health, but you will agree with me that a lot of young people are dying. They are committing suicide because of low self-esteem, because of depression. And Africa is losing most of its young, competent people who would be leaders now, but because of mental health. Can you get me?
Yes, please.
Excuse me, can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Okay. Okay, so I was talking about mental health and how most people don't see the importance of this. And so maybe in future, the future leadership conferences could discuss the importance of having, or the importance of mental health with regards leadership, tackles issues such as depression, low self-esteem. As a leader, you can be a leader and show your face to everybody and, have that self-image and everything. But if your mindset or what's going through in your head is there's a lot of negativity, a lot of just things just going round and round, at the end of the day, we'll hear that you actually committed suicide, and we'll be like, but this person was like this. And so maybe we can talk about issues to do with mental health. Because Africa is losing a lot of young people. A lot of young people are committing suicide. A lot of young people are going into depression because we're not handling these matters. We're not talking about this thing. So mental health and women in leadership. That's some of the topics I would like to see in future leadership conferences. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Josiane. We actually sent out some information on our pages, and we were calling out people to come up with topics, and some of the topics that came out most was about mental health. And I believe that the international executives are listening, and they will put into consideration all your suggestions. So there is a question on YouTube, and someone is asking if the conferences are only concerned to the AYLF members, and let's know if they are conducted only on YouTube or there are other ways. I would like to inform you, as Mr. Maleka also expressed a concern, that the conferences are not limited to AYLF members. The previous conference was open to everyone, although we encouraged members or participants to subscribe to AYLF as members, but it was open to all and everyone. So right now, currently, we are holding conferences online on Zoom and YouTube, but trust me, we promise you that we will have a physical conference soon. We are organizing come 2025. We shall have a physical conference, and that will be sorted. So over to you, I would like to come to you, Mr. Dennis Monene, so that you come and tell us some of the challenges that you experienced and what do you think we should have done better as far as the AYLF Leadership Conference is concerned?
Okay. Thank you once again, and glad that these conferences are organized and are led by the young people, and just appreciating that when a conference is deemed or is titled the young people. What really the young people expect is to see everything is run by the young people, even those speakers and those tech gurus, those experienced people are coming to give all those things are the young people. And we are glad that is what we really saw, and that's what we were expecting with the AYLF, and really came out very well. Because I've compared with some other conferences, and you find it's really a problem, because at times we tend, or sorry to say, but the elderly tend sometimes to think that they know what really the young people want, but it turns out not to be. Going again to the conference is maybe the time difference, because of the timing of the conference, considering our time differences from the continent that we are right now. So it just basically is being able to maybe organize regional conferences which are physical, that people can be able now to attend in
Mr. Dennis, I don't know if I'm the only one or everyone, but
is inconvenience.
Hello,
because
Mr. Dennis.
These, whatever we learn in this conference is very critical in growing our continent, and especially to my focus is usually the Agenda 2063 more than.
Mr. Dennis, we lost you. Hello, I think we lost Dennis because of network, and I think we should be winding up by now. Allow me call Mr. Kofi to come and tell us finally his key takeaways and what direction he would like us to take in the future conferences. Mr. Kofi, the microphone is yours.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, Ms. Mary Takali, and thank you all the panelists for the wonderful and insightful lessons that you have shared with us and the viewers on YouTube. I extend my greetings to the people on YouTube. I have seen some colleagues sending a lot of messages to me on WhatsApp that they are watching, so I'm glad to hear this. So first of all, I want to also extend a big thank you to the speakers for AYLF conference. I believe all of us can attest that they did excellently well, and their presentation was nothing short but perfect. So without much ado, first I want to share a very brief lesson that I took from the AYLF conference. Firstly, I love the fact that all the topics were interwoven or kind of reinforce each other. And if you follow the presentations very well, you find some emerging themes coming out from every speaker. Almost all the speakers, they have something that they emphasize on, which maybe the previous speaker has already talked about, but this one also come again and emphasize on that. One of them being collaboration, another one being networking, another one being also being a leader, standing for what you believe in and being yourself. And this evening, we are all witnessing what is happening in Kenya as young leaders. And this conference has also taught us how we can advocate perfectly as young people, or how we can engage in advocacy, which was presented by Mr. Asari. And I love one of his quotes, and I wrote that quote down. Permit me to share it shortly, then I will proceed with what I want to add. So Mr. Asari talked about advocacy and mentioned that, where is it? And he mentioned, okay, here is it. He mentioned that silence is not an option for African youths. We hold the power to shape our destinies, and that power lies in using our voices to advocate for change. This is very interesting. Maybe I can read it again. Said silence is not an option for African youths. We hold the power to shape our destinies, and that power lies in using our voices to advocate for change. Today, we are all here wanting to impact, make a meaningful change in our communities. A lot of challenges around us. If we stay muted and say that we are not going to act and waiting for the bigger platform to make decisions, we will end up not doing anything. It therefore means that whatever little stage that we are offered, we should use that to make a rightful impact. Whatever little opportunity that we have, we should use that to make something that will live long. And whatever opportunity that we have, we should utilize it properly. So for us who managed to attend the conference, a lot of key takeaways that we are still on sharing some of them on our social media. What I will leave you this evening is embrace all the key learnings. Whatever you got from the conference, just materialize it, use it properly, and empower yourself with it. The videos are still on YouTube. Personally, I go online every morning for maybe 15 to 30 minutes. I watch one session, maybe one presentation from a speaker. Then after, I move on. The next time when I get a break or any moment, I just go back and watch again because I love the presentation and the interaction. So this is what I've been doing and it's helping me. So you out there, I'm also encouraging you, you can do the same in case there is a particular section that you really love and you want to learn more from it. Just go back to the YouTube, watch the video, and get the knowledge that you want to gain. It will help you. It's helping me to brand myself, to also know what to do as a leader, and not forgetting my good friend who I've been following closely, Mr. Oswald. He also mentioned that is the world is controlled by force of will, and if your force of will is strong, you can be able to do a lot of things, or through you can be able to do so many things. So anytime you want to undertake something or you want to do something, think about the will that you want to bring in. In other words, if your zeal to succeed is really serious, or is really the goal, it's more better than the reason you want to succeed. Because the person who has the zeal and the reason to succeed will find the reasons to succeed. Therefore, we should let our force of will to be strong, and we should take this lesson seriously, take it to the community, take it to our friends, share the knowledge with people and use it. And I love the fact that Mr. Malak, he also brought in the idea of personal branding, that even when you come into Zoom, you should dress properly, you should even put perfume on you. And I love that. I love that. It makes a lot of sense to me, because that is what determines you. You don't know who is watching you today, and whatever you are presenting here, it shows you also outside. So let's take these lessons more than just sharing it among ourselves. It's fine that we are having a dialogue on them, but at the end of the day, what impacts do we make if we cannot utilize the knowledge that we have acquired? If we cannot put down anything from it, if we cannot practically say that I have acquired this skill from the lessons that we learned. For instance, Miss Nadia talk about her being a 21st leader. She knows when to step in and when to step out. So you being a leader, you don't always has to be in front of whatever. You should always have a break, know when to act or when not to. And I love everything that we discussed. So please, I want to leave you with my final words, which is also from Mr. Pigbin Odim Wengun from Kenya, and he actively sharing knowledge on on what is happening in Kenya on Gen Z. So if you want to learn more, you can follow him on TikTok or maybe Facebook to read more on whatever he is sharing. He talks about capacity building for youth. I understand that Africa holds the largest youth ever in our continent, and obviously we all know that it presents opportunity and it also presents a problem. But if we are empowered or we have the capacity, we will be able to do a lot of great things. Therefore, we should always seek to empower ourselves, and we should always seek learning. We should always get involved, and we should always be ready to embrace whatever may come, so that we will be able to be the best generation that we want to be. Thank you so much, Miss Mary. I will want you to carry on. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kofi, and thank you so much for the wonderful advice you've given us. Now, I believe it's 4 minutes past 7 p.m. GMT. I would like and request that we conclude our conversation for this first youth dialogue. And Mr. Kofi, I'll come back to you. Can you please give us your parting shots as we conclude in 2 seconds?
Okay, thank you so much, Miss Mary. If it's 2 seconds, I think it's over now. So,
I've given you more 2 seconds.
Because you said 2 seconds, then I all I could say was thank you. But anyway, I just want to thank everyone who joined. And this is what we will be doing often on every Sunday. For instance, we will have another set of speakers who will be joining us in the coming week to discuss a different topic. And any one of us who is interested can still be among the panels. And it's rather unfortunate that Yvonne couldn't get chance to speak. I believe a lot of people were also waiting for her to say something. We hope to bring her back in our next dialogue series. So thank you, dear panelists, and we are really honored to have you I extend greetings from our co-founders and the founder of AYLF to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mr. Alfred, can you give us your parting shots in 2 seconds?
Anyway,
Yes.
yes. Firstly, I would like to introduce myself because that was what I failed to do early. Due to coming in late, I thought we have already run out of time. Well, I am Alfred Senesi, a founder of a non-profit youth-led NGO based in Sierra Leone, and which the organization is into multilateral actions towards healthcare, youth empowerment, we're dealing with entertainment, and of course, left vision education. Now, giving a conclusion to this dialogue session, I think I've also learned from all of the speakers who made it possible today for making this dialogue a success. Of course, from you again, Miss Mary, um, all I would like to say is for us to actually take actions for every step towards implementing initiatives that will actually impact Africa. That is all I see. If we want to make Africa a better place for even the generations yet unborn, then we should start now rather than delaying on things and looking at how to solve problems. I believe every step makes a little movement. It's like starting and seeing the way forward to it. So my takeaway and leaving this dialogue session for tonight, I would like to thank you all for making it possible. It was indeed a great session. And of course, recognizing all of you, I can't be able to name you now all, but I kindly appreciate you all for making it a success and us learning from each other because even from the statement from Mr. Malik, Mr. I don't know, there are names I can't actually call, but I'll try to connect and see how best we can push the issues of Africa to a better success. I thank you once more.
Thank you so much, Mr. Alfred Senesi. Mr. Alfred Senesi is organizing an event in Sierra Leone. I've received the email and it will be in August. I hope that our panelists participate and book their flights and tickets to Sierra Leone and support Mr. Alfred. Over to you, Mr. Dennis. Mr. Dennis, can you give us your parting? Mr. Dennis.
Oh, thank you. I hope I'm clear right now.
Your 2 seconds.
Please confirm.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead. Briefly.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Is it the network thing issue is something also we need also to address in Africa. I've seen
Yes.
Mr. Emmanuel also commented on the same from the Uganda end, seen the same issue in Nigeria and South Africa. So it's something we also need to come up with the innovative ways in technology and digital transformation and at least develop tech solutions on this one and address all these local issues and challenges once and for all as Africans and do something on it. Yeah, on 2 things that are very critical right now, and one is on the education and skill development, and number 2 is my whole thing in that is the good governance and leadership. And on education and skill development, my emphasis has always been on the quality. That is what we really need to see happening in Africa. And what I thought or what I think needs to happen in Africa and by the young people who we are looking on to seeing them doing something in Africa, because the people that we believe they could do this one for the young people are no longer doing it. Is us coming together and then being able to develop the skills, because right now the social media has all these things. So by developing those things and coming up, creating those jobs that we can be able to create online, and then going back to our juniors who are in schools, and then trying to also put that thing in them. Because I was just, I remember looking on some statistics last week on education, and I was really concerned. Because looking at the completion rates in Africa, which is way behind or the goal, the target of the world.
You have 5 seconds.
Thank
Dennis.
you. Okay. Governance sees the people, our elders refused to promote transparency and accountability. My call is on the young people to get actively involved in civic activities, participate in those public offices, and then change the narrative. And then with that one, we'll be able to do that one. I'll also be inviting you in a summit in October for East Africa youths. Thank you.
Yeah, and we are preparing to come to Nairobi. So Mr. Dennis is a politician, and I think he's a pastor, so you will forgive him. He's aspiring to be the president of Kenya in 2037, and you know how politicians be and pastors be. So over to you, Miss Josiane. Miss Josiane, are you there? If you're there, kindly give us your parting shots, and we hear from Yvonne one last time, the first time and the last time. Yes, Miss Josiane.
Okay, so my final remarks. Firstly, I would like to thank AYLF executives for giving me this opportunity to speak. And yeah, my final remarks is it is quite unfortunate that not a lot of women were in attendance at the AYLF Leadership Conference. It was very sad for me. Africa is still lagging behind with regards to how people view women. And the saddest thing is that we women ourselves are bringing ourselves down. We believe that we're inferior, and we're letting others tell us that, and we believe it. And so my final remarks is, ladies, women, please let us just get involved in these things. Let us put ourselves out there, you know, let us take the initiative. And so, yeah, those were my final remarks is, women, let us do this thing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Josie. And Miss Yvonne, if you're here, kindly unmute and we hear from you. We are so sorry that you're having network disturbances, but if you're here, kindly unmute and speak to us. Miss Yvonne? Miss Yvonne? All right. Mr. Molit, okay, she's here. Kindly talk to us. We want to hear your voice.
I'm disappointed.
So sorry.
I was so prepared. This Jesus, oh my. Oh, thank you so much. I would just say thank you much for the just opportunity you organize. You are of confident. I'm able to eat. I eat moment for so much for this conference. The first building the narrative Africa. This generation we care about is to be put bias. And God, what are you doing?
Oh, that's bad. We lost her. I pray that we have Miss Yvonne on the next panel, because I feel like we've not heard so much from her, and she had a lot to tell us, and bring to the table. So Mr. Molit, can you unmute and give your parting shots as we conclude?
Thank you very much. And again, Master Tekeli Mary, thank you very much. You are invited for again. My final remark is, I'm saying, if we are used in Africa, we should party for the Africa prosperity and peace building. So, you know, and Africa is highest population for the youth. Africa, for example, Somalia is 70% is young. So, for that opportunity, we can take our responsibility. We can take our peace building process. So, for example, we have, I mentioned for our brother leader and Ibrahim Traore. This is a good example. We start with but that we sample of the role model of the we are young leaders in Africa, continent. So we should take our responsibility. We should advocate the peace process. And we are not part of the conflict creators. So that position we should feed, we should take, we should care our continent, our community, our leaders, our and land. So and that means we have to step by step and we should part of the conflict. We should part of the resolve first for the problems. If their problem came, the continent, the community, our country, so you have to create, create the peace, security. So, and for example, if Somalia needs for and peace building process, the current time is the part, but it's going by the peace building process, rebuilding by the country. So that way we need for the networks for our youth. We have to create by the network and our educated young leaders. So I think I can add for the so the big problem is the young educated in African countries does not get by space for the political position in each African countries. So especially least developing countries that richly see, they not get by the opportunity to get for the to get the position of the government or the positions or the policy maker. So that's the big we are willing for that problem. So that we recover, we succeed for that problem. So that way we have to create the way of the process way, the way of the forwarded for the peace building. So that's all my final remarks. Thank you for all panelists and LFIL. Thank you very much for all. I wish to be continuous for this panel discussions, networking, and young educators. I expect and willing to be continuously for this way of discussions, way of combine of our fresh leaders. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Mr. Molit. Thank you so much. Mr. Molit there is our most resourceful and active national president from Somalia. Mr. Malika, I want you to be the last person to give your parting shots and we call this a day.
Okay. Sorry to cut in. It looks like Yvonne is very well prepared now, and let's at least hear what she has to say, like even if it's 30 seconds.
Okay, Miss Yvonne, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Just venting in my disappointed network. Anyway, so I was that I like we have to check the case of Africa. Not oh.
I think we lost her again. And we are out of time. Apologies. Mr. Emmanuel, can you go ahead with your parting shot?
Thank you very much once again. I would like to second the prospect that Miss Yvonne is considered for the next dialogue series because we barely heard from her. I second that. Then I would like to conclude by saying that branding is so important, even in business, to an extent that you don't look like what you sell, we shall definitely take you that you sell lies. So I hope we all put branding into practice. Then the other thing is that such dialogue series are important for nurturing the next generation of leaders. And this can be done through empowerment, talk about networking, skills development, which can also be put into practice on such platforms like the AYLF conference that can pull together all the African youth to learn about issues that are affecting Africa, because we're looking forward to seeing the youth as the champions, the solutions to the future problems affecting Africa. Thank you very much for such a wonderful session. I'm happy to be here, and I would always be here. Yeah, AYLF to the world. Thank you.
AYLF to the world, indeed. Thank you so much, my distinguished panelists. I know and I believe that this conference aimed to inspire and equip Africa's next generation of leaders with tools to address the continent's challenges creatively and collaboratively. So, and I believe that it laid the foundation for the new era of progress and prosperity in Africa. Thank you so much, my panelists. Miss Yvonne, we are so sorry, and we feel so very bad that we didn't hear from you. And even if we tried to hear from you, you are breaking. But as Maleka said, you've qualified to be to be one of the panelists for the next dialogue series. Thank you so much, our Executive Council. Thank you so much, Mr. James, who's listening in. Thank you so much, the organizing committee, our guest speakers of the previous conference. Thank you so much, our YouTube participants and our panelists again. And thanks to me, the wonderful host and moderator. The key takeaways today is silence is not an option. We need to stand up for what we believe in, and remember to always smell good, always. Thank you so much. Have a great night. Bye-bye.